Hello students, our next topic is knapsack problem. It is a famous problem in algorithms and dynamic programming. So here we have two methods. One is knapsack problem without memory function, that is otherwise called as dynamic programming, and the approach will be top down. And the next method is knapsack problem with memory function, and here the approach is bottom up. That means top down, you will start from the main and you will go down. But bottom up in the sense you will start from the base and you will build it up. So let us get into the topic. So what is knapsack? See, knapsack is nothing but it is all about selecting the items to put in a bag. The bag is nothing but knapsack. And to maximize the profit of that bag without exceeding the weight limit. Weight in the sense capacity of the bag. That means we will be given n items, n number of items. Each item will have a specific weight and a value. And moreover, the knapsack will also have a capacity or a weight. So what is our goal? We have to select the items such that the total weight of all the items should not exceed. That means it should be either less than or equal to the weight of that bag. That is the capacity. Okay? Okay, now just concentrate on this question. This question is having three columns. One is nothing but the item. How many elements or how many items we can place inside the bag. Okay, here actually the items are 4. So from this we have to choose. And each item has its own specific weight and the value. Okay. So now how many items do we have? That is equated to n. So n equal to 4. And what is the capacity of the bag? That is W equal to 5. So based on this only we are going to fix our I and j value. That means the value of I ranges from 0 to 4, nothing but number of items, and j value ranges from 0 to 5, that is nothing but the capacity. Okay. Now let's start working. Okay, now based on the I and j value we have to construct a table. Okay. So I is nothing but 4, right? So that means we should have, that is I ranges from 0 to 4. So we have to draw the rows according to the value of I. Then what is the j value? J ranges from 0 to 5. So now we have to draw the columns from 0 to 5. Then we have to start filling our table one by one. So for filling the table, the first option, that is the first formula, is f of I comma 0 is equal to 0 and f of 0 comma j is also equal to 0. So as we already know the value of I, which ranges from 0 to 4, you have to equate it. That is f of 0 comma 0, first it will be 0. Next the I value will change as 1. So f of 1 comma 0, that is also equal to 0. Next the I value changes to 2. So f of 2 comma 0 equal to 0. F of 3 comma 0 equal to 0 and f of 4 comma 0 equal to 0. So this is what I have filled in the table. Next is what? F of 0 comma j. We all know j ranges from 0 to 5. Now you have to replace the value of j starting from 0 till 5. That means what is the first value? F of 0 comma 0 is 0. Next f of 0 comma 1 is 0. F of 0 comma 2. Likewise till f of 0 comma 5. So that's what I have filled in the table. Okay. Now if you look into the empty cells, how many empty cells we have? We have 5 columns and 4 rows. So 5 4s are 20. So I have to find 20 entries to fill the table. Okay. So to find the remaining 20 entries, we are going to use a formula which is given over here. So here f of I comma j. That means we know the value of I and j, right? So by substituting the value of I and j, we are going to find each element in this table and slowly we have to fill it. Okay. So here whenever you are choosing an item, in the formula you just see f of I comma j equal to maximum of f of I minus 1 comma j comma vi. Vi is nothing but the value for that particular item. For example, if I is 1 means what is the value of item number 1? Likewise you have to take. Okay. So vi plus f of I minus 1 comma j minus wi. Here also j minus wi means weight of the first item. If I value is 1. If I value is 2, weight of second. If I value is 3, weight of third. Likewise. So the vi and wi will always depend on that I value, that is nothing but the item which we have selected. Okay. Here we have one condition. After calculating the value of j and w, you have to check whether j is greater than or equal to w. If it is so, you have to use the first formula. Okay. Otherwise, you have to use the second formula. Second formula is j is less than w. First formula is j is either greater than or equal to w. So using this formula, we are going to find each value of this tabular column and we have to fill it. Okay. Okay, as I mentioned already, this problem is what? A knapsack problem with memory function. That means the approach is bottom up. Bottom up in the sense you have to start from the bottom, then slowly you have to fill one by one and you have to reach the top. Right? So here, according to our example, that is according to the table, which is a last cell, it is of fourth row and fifth column, right? That is the last cell. So first we have to start from that position and from there we have to derive one by one. Okay? Because we have to fill totally 20 entries. So from this we will start. So first is f of 4 comma 5. So here I is nothing but 4 and j is nothing but 5. And what is vi? Just look at the table. Here I is what? 4. So what is the value for 4? It is $15, right? So that's why I mentioned as vi equal to 15. And what is the weight of the fourth item? It is 2. Now when you compare the j and w value, j is greater than w. So that means I have to use the first formula. Okay. So here the first formula is what? Maximum of f of I minus 1. So I have highlighted the formula. Now you have to substitute the value of I and j there. That's all. So f of 4 comma 5. F of 4 comma 5 equal to maximum of f of I minus 1. So here 4 minus 1 is what? 3. 3 comma 5. Okay, comma. Then what is vi? Vi is nothing but 15. So 15 plus f of I minus 1, that is nothing but 4 minus 1 is 3, comma, j minus wi. Here j is 5 and w is 2. So 5 minus 2 is what? 3. So we have derived the solution for f of 4 comma 5. But we don't know what is the value in f of 3 comma 5 or f of 3 comma 3. So now we have to find f of 3 comma 5 first, then f of 3 comma 3. Clear? So that's what I have mentioned below. Just see f of 3 comma 5. Now what is the value of I? I is equal to 3 and j equal to 5. Now the item number is what? 3. Now what is the value of 3? The value of item number 3 is what? $20. Okay, so we will get 20. And what is the weight of item 3? That is 3. So here w is represented as 3. So here if you compare both j and w, j is greater than w. If j is greater than w, then you have to go for first formula. So what is first formula? F of 3 comma 5 equal to maximum of f of I minus 1. So I is nothing but 3. So 3 minus 1 is what? 2. 2 comma 5 comma. What is the value? Vi is what? 20 plus f of I minus 1 comma j minus w. So here I minus 1 is what? 3 minus 1 is 2 and j minus w. J is 5 and w is 3. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay. So first we have started filling from the bottom, that is f of 4 comma 5. When we started finding the solution for f of 4 comma 5, we got f of 3 comma 5 and 3 comma 3. But we don't know what the values. So that's why we are deriving the solution for f of 3 comma 5. Okay. Now we have to find the value of f of 3 comma 3. Now we have to find f of 3 comma 3. So you have to repeat the same process. That is I is equated to the first and j is equated to the second. So here 3 comma 3. That means I is 3 and j is 3. And what is the value of item number 3? That is 20. And what is the weight of item number 3? That is 3. Now when you compare the relationship between j and w, so j is equal to w. So that means you have to use the first formula. So f of 3 comma 3 equal to maximum of f of 2 comma 3. So 3 minus 1, right? I minus 1. So 2 comma 3 and comma vi, that is nothing but 20 plus f of I minus 1 comma j minus w. I minus 1 is nothing but 3 minus 1 is what? 2 comma j minus w is 0. Okay. So here I know 2 comma 0. That is 0. But other than that I don't know f of 2 comma 3, right? Okay. And moreover, if you see f of 3 comma 5, in that you don't know the value of f of 2 comma 5 as well as f of 2 comma 2. So in order to fix the answer of 3 comma 5, we have to derive the answer for 2 comma 5 as well as 2 comma 2. Understood? See, first of all we are starting from f of 4 comma 5. For that we have found two values, one is 3 comma 5 and 3 comma 3. Since we don't know the value, we have to find or derive the answer for f of 3 comma 5 first. That I have did. Next I have derived for f of 3 comma 3. So when you look into f of 3 comma 5, in that we have f of 2 comma 5 as well as 2 comma 2. So next we have to solve. Okay, same formula. You just follow the same formula and now we have found the solution for f of 2 comma 5. Next we have to find for f of 2 comma 2. Okay, so now if you look at this slide, we have found the solution for f of 2 comma 2. In f of 2 comma 2, we have a new value like f of 1 comma 2 and f of 1 comma 1. So we know 1 comma 1 but we don't know what is 1 comma 2. So we have to find it. Okay. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, we have found or we have derived for f of 2 comma 3. So when we derive for f of 2 comma 3, we got what? F of 1 comma 3 and f of 1 comma 2. Fine. So now we have to find the value for 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 4 and 1 comma 5. We have to calculate for all these things. So first we will start with the last one, f of 1 comma 5. So here the first variable is I, second variable is j. That means I equal to 1, j equal to 5. Now what is the value of item number 1? Because I is 1 here. So what is the value of item number 1? The value is 12. What is the weight of item number 1? The value is 2. Now you compare j and w. J is 5, w is 2. That means 5 is greater than 2. So you have to go for the first formula. So according to first formula, we are getting max of f of I minus 1. Already I is 1 here. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So 0 comma 5. So we know 0 comma 5. 0 comma 5 is what? 0 comma 12 plus what is 0 comma 3? It is also 0. So in this, which is the maximum value? Obviously it is 12. That means we have found the value of 1 comma 5 as 12. As soon as you find a value, please mark it in the table. Then only we can find out which are the empty cells and slowly we can fill it. Okay? Now in dynamic programming we had 20 computations, right? But here we have to find 10 computations. That is, for 10 cells we have to find the value. So starting from f of 4 comma 5, when we started deriving, we have noted certain cells. They are f of 3 comma 5, 3 comma 3, 2 comma 5, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 3, and the first row, entire first row, f of 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 4 and 1 comma 5. So now we have to start filling it. Okay, just now we have found the value of f of 1 comma 5, that is nothing but 12. So same process should be repeated to fill the remaining cells. Okay, so now let us see the next slide so that we can find how many values we have derived. So when you start applying the formula repeatedly, you can find the values, and that's what I have mentioned in the cell. Okay, so we can see now the entire cell or entire table has been filled with the values. Some will not be having any value, that is marked as hyphen. Remaining all, whatever we have derived directly, has been replaced by that particular number. Okay, now the first step is over. So now what we have to do? Now we have to use the formula to pick the items. When you want to select an item, we have certain formula. So we have to follow that. Okay, so let us proceed. Now what is the formula to select an item? To select an item, it is f of I comma j not equal to f of I minus 1 comma j. That means the value of that particular element or in that cell should not be equal. If they are not equal, then you can select that item. Which item? I value. I is the item here. Okay. So in case if the item is selected, you can take a note of it. And what is the next formula? So next formula is I equal to I minus 1 and j equal to j minus wi. That means the weight of that particular item. In case if the item is not selected, then you have to apply the same formula, but you should not change the value of j. That is, you have to decrement I by 1. That's it. But you should not change the value of j. So now we'll start comparing. As usual, we have to do it from the bottom. So what is the last cell? That is 4th row, 5th column. So I have to apply the formula for f of 4 comma 5. So now these are the three formulas we have to follow to select the items to place in the knapsack. What is our intention of this problem? We are going to pick the item to place in the knapsack. Okay. So after filling the tabular column, now we have to select the item. In order to select the item, as I mentioned, we have to follow the formulas. So first formula is what? F of I comma j not equal to f of I minus 1 comma j. So according to our problem, the last cell is nothing but 4 comma 5. I will take the value of 4 and j will take the value of 5. Now when you apply this formula, f of 4 comma 5 not equal to f of 3 comma 5. That means the element present in 4 comma 5 should not be equal to the element present in f of 3 comma 5. So now let us look into the table. The element present in 4 comma 5 is what? 37. The element in 3 comma 5 is 32. Are they equal? No. Since they are not equal, they are satisfying the condition. So we can select that item. Item is nothing but the value of I. What is the value of I here? 4. So my conclusion is here, item 4 is selected. Now we have to concentrate on the remaining 3 items because this problem has totally 4 items. In that I have chosen the fourth item. Okay. Okay, if the item is selected, then we have to do one process, right? What it is? We have to decrement the value of I, and after that J value should be decremented by W. That is the corresponding weight. Now what I mentioned here, I is what? 4. So what is the weight of item number 4? It is 2. So what is the value of J? J is 5. So 5 minus 2 is what? 3. Okay, and if you are decrementing the value of I by 1. So already we know I is 4, J is 5. When you apply this formula, now we will get f of 3, 3. Okay, so now we have to start comparing with that. So when you compare, that is when you want to choose an item, what is the formula? F of I comma j not equal to f of I minus 1 comma j. So here I is 3, j is 3. So if you use f of I comma j, that is f of 3 comma 3 equal to f of I minus 1. 3 minus 1 is what? 2. 2 comma 3. Now check the elements present in this position. What is the element in f of 3 comma 3? It is 22. Next, if you see what is f of 2 comma 3, it is also 22. They are equal. That means they are not satisfying the condition. So now item 3 cannot be selected. What is the I value? I value is 3. So that means you cannot select the item number 3. Item 4 is already selected, right? So item 3 is not selected. Got it? So item 4 is selected, item 3 is not selected. Now the current value of I is what? 3, and current value of j is also 3. So what did I say? In case if the item is not selected, then we have to apply the another formula. That means you have to decrement the value of I, but you will not modify the value of j. J will remain as it is. So that means I will be equal to what? 2. 3 minus 1 is what? 2. And j equal to what? 3. So now we have to start comparing for f of 2 comma 3. So what is the formula for selecting an item? F of I comma j not equal to f of I minus 1 comma j. So when I apply this formula, what value will I get? F of 2 comma 3 not equal to f of 1 comma 3. Now look at the table. What are the elements present in this location? F of 2 comma 3 is having 22. F of 1 comma 3 has 12. Are they equal? No. So if they are not equal, then I can select that particular item. So here item is nothing but I is nothing but it is equal to 2. So item 2 is also selected. So item 2 and 4 got selected, 3 is not selected. Okay, now we are in item number 2. That means the I value is what? 2. Okay. Now what is the weight of item number 2? That is 1. So if the item is selected, then what is the formula? I equal to I minus 1, comma j equal to j minus w. So that means you have to decrement the value of I, right? So item number 2, from item number 2, you are going to item number 1 because I minus 1. So 2 minus 1, I is nothing but 1. So what is j value? J is 3, right? So 3 minus, what is the weight of item number 2? 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Now what is f of I comma j? F of I comma j is nothing but 1 comma 2. So what is the formula to select the item? F of I comma j not equal to f of I minus 1 comma j. So if I decrement I, that is nothing but 1, what will happen? 0. So now you have to compare the elements present in f of 1 comma 2 and f of 0 comma 2. So the element present in 1 comma 2 is 12 and 0 comma 2 is 0. Are they equal? No. So if they are not equal, it satisfies the condition. So that means I can select that item. So item 1 is also selected. So now What is the final conclusion? Item 1, 2 and 4 are selected. 3 is not selected. So you have to take and write like item 1, 2 and 4 will be selected with the profit. What is the last cell value? 4, 5. That is what? 37. So that is a maximum profit. Okay. So that's all about an knapsack problem with memory function. So final conclusion is the bag is packed with items which has a maximum profit value, that is nothing but 37. Thank you so much for watching.